With the intense energies of this summer and the life-changing alignments of 2020 just around the corner, community and trusted guides are as important as ever. And that's why I have a very special offer for you as a podcast listener here today. You may have heard of our Inner Circle online membership community featuring live new and full moon forecasts, ceremonies to help you align your intentions with the moon cycle, and mastery class astrology teachings led by the world's best astrologers. And maybe you've even considered joining us before. If so, now is definitely the time to take action because enrollment is closing on July 31st and doors won't be open again until 2020. And as a podcast listener, you have an opportunity to join us now and lock in our founding member pricing of only $27 a month. The membership will be $37 a month for new members when we reopen in 2020. So now is the time to join us and lock in the lowest pricing we'll ever offer. Just go to astrologyhub.com/innercircle or click the link in the show notes to join us today. And when you join us now, you're going to learn from astrologers like Adam Gainsberg, teaching you how to work with your personal Venus phase so you can shine your light in the world. Nadia Shah, guiding you to embrace your unique talents through working with your 6th and 12th houses. The legendary Rick Levine, teaching on cultivating balance in relationships, and much, much more. I invite you to join us and see for yourself why 76% of our members say they feel a greater sense of purpose and meaning in their lives since joining the Inner Circle, why 81% of our members say they feel a greater sense of community and belonging, and 88% say learning astrology is easier now more than ever because they've joined the Inner Circle. Remember, there's no contract and you can cancel your membership at any time, so trying it for a month is completely risk-free. If you want to join a supportive community of astrology lovers, get guidance from professional astrologers all year long, and learn astrology from the best astrologers in the world, then this is the community for you. The membership is suitable for all levels of astrological understanding, from newbies to veterans alike. And a note to our beloved existing members, your price will remain $27 a month as long as you stay in the membership. So for those of you who would like to join us, just go to astrologyhub.com/innercircle or click the link in the show notes and lock in your founding member price of $27 a month before doors close on July 31st. I'll see you on the inside. Hi there, my name's Amanda Walsh and I'm the founder of Astrology Hub.
And I'm Stormie Grace, Astrology Hub's newest master astrologer and your new co-host for our weekly forecast episodes.
Stormie, we are so excited to have you here. It is such an honor and a pleasure. And I'm so excited to see where this goes, where this leads us. And I know that you've been forecasting on your own YouTube channel for 6 years. You have almost 56,000 followers on your channel. So you've gotten really good at this forecasting thing. And like I said, we're just honored and excited to have you here with us now. What are you the most excited to share with our listeners?
Honestly, I'm excited to share astrology. I mean, in whatever form and fashion we find it, astrology is this bridge between the world we can't see and the one that we're living in. And it's also this bridge between questions and answers. And we're here because we have questions and we're looking for answers. And so I'm excited to share that and continue to grow people's knowledge and just share information that allows that bridge to be accessed and useful.
I love that. I mean, as you know, we're all about making the wisdom of astrology practical and useful because it's one thing to keep it up there in the sky, but it's another thing to really apply it into our lives. So it sounds like we're going to get to do that a lot here with all of you every week. And now we're here for our weekly forecast for the week beginning July 29th. Stormie, tell us about the week ahead. What is the major theme that we'll be exploring together?
You know, Amanda, this week, honestly, I'm glad it's my first week, but out there in the cosmos, this week is a bit of a challenge because we've got abrupt changes, we've got uncertainty, but this is also exciting because we need this uncertainty and these uncertain opportunities to get out of our normal patterns. If not, we stay stuck. Plus, we've got a very lucky new moon happening in Leo this week, which is actually very motivated to begin some new things from all the drama and upheaval that comes. Not to mention we've got Mercury coming direct. Thank you very much. So he'll be using those energies to help us move forward as well.
Very nice. Okay, so would you say that basically it's about the potential for abrupt changes and things happening in our lives? It's almost like when one door closes, another door opens, though. So staying focused on what that change opens up in terms of new opportunities?
I absolutely would. And there's this vision that I have of kind of walking between different doorways. There's a hallway in between there usually, and it's quite uncertain in the hallway which door is going to open. But you just got to be able to keep moving because you don't belong where you were.
And that is the hardest point, I feel, Stormie. It's when we're in that hallway, a door is closed, we don't know what the new door is that's going to open. It's like, there's that moment of, is a new door going to open? And is it going to be better than the last door, or is it going to be worse?
Absolutely. So it's always this kind of, it's exciting though. You know what I mean? It is exciting, but there is this level of hesitance that comes with it. And then our sensitivities as humans run to the surface. So it can be and feel a little bit chaotic. And then all of a sudden this door opens and it's like, oh, I always knew it was going to be that one.
Exactly. And there was someone said to me this one time, I don't remember if it was like a teacher that everybody knows or if it was someone personal in my life. So I'm not quoting anyone, but it wasn't from me. But they said, pay attention to the way nervousness feels. Because if you just reframed that and called it excitement, if you pay attention to how it feels in the body, it actually feels the same. So like nervousness or sort of that like, I don't know. If you just renamed that excitement, it changes your whole orientation with that like physical sensation. So
yeah. Absolutely. And that falls right into the other things we've got going on this week. We're needing to be very open-minded, but you know how when you're kind of in that place of sensitivity and desperation and what's going to happen next, you become very open-minded, right? Because you're just ready and open for a solution. And we need that this week.
Well, let's do it. Let's go into the week ahead. Tell us what's going on.
All right. Kicking off on Monday, it seems like we've got a very emotionally sensitive vibe that's available first thing in the morning. We've got the moon moving into the energy of Cancer where it's at home, it's comfortable, we're nurturing, we want to have a little snack, right? It's delicious. It's such a comfortable energy, but it is highly sensitive and intuitive. And followed later that day by that moon coming into a sextile with Uranus, who's in Taurus. Now, when the planets have sex, that's good for us because we can use that energy instead of just being a pocket of opportunity. We're going to intelligently take action with it. And the Cancer-Taurus energy love each other. So with this, you've got the availability to have your intuition on Rev 5, right? So it opens you, you're intuitive, you're a little bit open to change, maybe a new way of thinking or understanding something, especially on your domestic and personal zones. So here's the thing though, you're going to be a little bit more open to these changes, whether you want to be or not. A sextile demands a little bit of action. Now, with the open-mindedness, we're really going to need that later in the day on Monday because we're going to have this challenging energy of Uranus and the sun coming into a square. And this brings big changes. This brings uncertainty. It can bring, for some people, anxiety to the surface. You can even see yourself, you've had all of this Cancer moon, you may see yourself showing up in an outburst. How about that, right? Sometimes you just got to lose your tacos, I guess.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny you say that.
Right?
I had a moment of an outburst like 3-4 weeks ago, and my daughter Madeline witnessed it. She was like, "Mama, I'm proud of you. That was great. You needed to do that. Didn't that feel good?" And I was like, "Wow, this is so funny. You're 10." And yes, you're right.
And that's right. That's exactly what it's like. It is like something has been under pressure. It's been building. And because we're dealing with moon and sun energy, you might not have even known what it was. But on that very personal level, what you're looking for here is you're looking for change. You want to break free. Now, the question becomes, from what? And to answer that, these are great energies to look at your chart, look at your world, and see where you've been stagnant. Where do you have these root level dramas or just unease? Where do you want to shine or be seen more? These energies invite something new. They break these old habits, and they also give you an opportunity in this very physical plane to encounter someone or something new that gives you that new information on how to handle something that you've been stuck on. I mean, they literally just, you're at the grocery store and they say, "Oh yeah, when my daughter blah, blah, blah," and they give you the answer. And you had no idea they were going to do that, right? How amazing is that energy? So be very flexible in your approaches and be proactive in your actions as well, and stay ready for anything, okay?
Yes, Miss Stormie, we will.
That's right. Just do it. No, just kidding.
Okay, Stormie. So we've talked a little bit about questions that we can ask ourselves in working with this energy. Where do you see it playing out, like on the world stage, for example?
Oh, man. So if we think back into our history, because sometimes astrology is phenomenal for tracking it from the history, let's look back to just January of this year, where we had the Sun and Uranus meeting up with each other. And we had old situations that needed to be met with new solutions. You know, in the United States, we were still in the government shutdown, and that furlough, instead of just impacting the United States, impacted employees nationwide. I mean, there were pockets of just very big change that happened, right? We also saw things like male prisoners, instead of trying to just rehab them and send them to certain classes to help them be better, we saw them using hula dancing to help reform these people. We've got a liver transplant procedure that was undergone, and it cut the wait list in half if we accept this procedure. You know, old solutions, brand new ideas showing up. Solar farms showed up this week. So really a lot of open-mindedness, creativity, and flexibility to break us free from these old solutions or from these old ideas that we had that we just needed new solutions to.
Wow, I love that. So applying that to our personal life, it's like, okay, here's the thing that keeps showing up. How can I apply a new solution to an old problem? Like, how can I think about this differently? How can I see it differently? How can I innovate and improvise? And when we do that, I mean, we're going to create a different outcome. It might not be automatically, it might not be the first time we apply it, but eventually that energy has to shift. So that's great. I love those examples you brought up too, especially the hula dancing for the male prisoner. It's amazing. Okay. All right. So this is all Monday. Oh my God. It's like starts the week off with a bang, huh?
Right. You've got to put your like big kid pants on Monday and get ready for anything, but that's okay, because then we have some things to work on a little bit on Tuesday, because Tuesday we actually come into the last quarter of the moon that is still in Cancer. So in this time, we actually start to wind down a little bit as we get ready in these next few days for the new moon happening in Leo. So what happens is we're actually entering in the dark side of the moon here, where we experience a little bit of a crisis of conscience, right? So here's the thing, even if you don't fully sense the shift that is happening on Tuesday, what's happening is you are quietly looking for meaning in what you're doing. You're working out which decisions are actually going to take you and move you forward. You've had 2 weeks of waxing moons before this, and that's where you've already accomplished something. Something's been done. You've been working on something. And now you're getting to see what kind of adjustments need to be made for this next cycle. But I think the thing that is most important to remember with what you're doing on Tuesday is that it's a very internal and quiet but effective reality check for you. And paired with Monday's energy, you are setting your stage for a move forward. And again, I tell you, sometimes that internal reality check is a trip, but sometimes you got to have a breakdown before you have a breakthrough.
You know, Stormie, what this brings up is, you know, when we're in this part of the moon phase where it is more of an internal time, where it is more reflective, how do you help clients who really struggle with the ability to make that kind of space in their lives? You know, we are so busy, you know, we're running around doing all kinds of things. How do you help people understand? I guess it's really about understanding the importance of doing that. Like how that actually is productive, you know, to make space for that more reflective time, especially in relation to the moon phase, because that's really where the energy is. So how do you coach people? How do you help people? How do you do it in your own life even?
Absolutely. So when I am working with my clients, one of the things that I love to do is remind them that only emergencies are emergencies, right? How profound is that? You do not have to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off all the time. There is time for breath. There is time to look at what's working in your life and what's not. And sometimes just that little piece of conversation, people go, oh my gosh, only emergencies are emergencies. And I'm like, yes, and there's only like 3 things that are actually emergencies on this planet. So you get an opportunity to laugh at yourself and kind of take a different perspective. But I also like to share my own examples, you know, and recently what it looked like, how I worked with those phases of the moon. And I show them the example so that they can see it in their own worlds. So here's my example for you guys out there. during this last new moon phase, I had this idea that I wanted to do a podcast. I had a dream goal for a podcast, right? So the crescent phase comes about and I had tons of fears, tons of doubts. I was never going to be able to do this. They were on full blast, right? So the first quarter comes and I get a little bit more confidence. I start talking to my friends. I start talking to people I know about this idea. The gibbous phase comes and I started to do the research that I had gained information from other people. I asked questions. I watched tutorials on how to do a podcast. Now, during the full moon, I had a conversation out of the blue that led to a hypothetical interview to do a podcast. And this realization hit me that, oh my God, this might really happen. I might do a podcast, right? So then I get to this disseminating phase and I started to actually share the information that, hey, the interview went well and I think I'm going to do a podcast. Then the fourth quarter comes where we land on Tuesday and I have actively achieved the position because here I am. There's this little internal shift that's happened for me and I'm able to ask for the support that I need, let go of the beginning vision of just maybe doing a podcast. And now I'm working on the reality of actually doing a podcast and how do I work with my team members within that. So sometimes by laying out the example, people get to see it and go, yes, okay, I see the timing and the process. And just knowing that someone else is working with it as well tends to be effective.
Stormie, that is such a great example. I love that you're getting to use this podcast as your example of your whole process. It's so cool. And look how fast that happened. So let me ask you this. Did you consciously do that? Like at the new moon, were you like, okay, it's the new moon and I have this new like seedling of an idea that I would like to do a podcast? Or did the idea come and it happened to be around the new moon? Tell us about that process a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because the idea has been back there and I've been putting it on the back shelf. And funny enough, as we were getting closer to the new moon, it just started to get louder and louder and louder in that place where you can't ignore anymore. And I was like, okay, I got it. It's time to do a podcast. You know, because I am tapped into my intuition. So I went, okay, I get it, guys. I'm coming. And then things started to roll. And the most amazing part about that is that even as an astrologer, I'm not always tracking the moon phase for myself, right? But as I look back to my journal writings as to how things unfolded, I'm like, well, here we are in this phase. Here's where we landed at the full moon, you know? And it's so beautiful how the energy will just carry us in the right timing, even if we're not paying attention to it.
Well, and yes, I love that too. And Stormie, look how amazing that is, that the universe literally conspired to bring us together because I knew we were going to need a new co-host for the forecast, but I had no idea who it would be. It was like, we do auditions. Maybe I don't know. I had no idea who it would be. And then you came into our awareness as an opportunity. And it was this moment of like, yeah, like, wow, that would really work. Thank you, universe. So it would be fun for me to track my process along the moon phase too, to see when my first awareness was that we were going to need a new co-host, that, you know, all that whole process, like what was happening for me. But the whole point of this, you guys, is that this is happening for you right now too. Like those seedlings that you have in yourself, if you nurture them, you put energy towards them. Look, Stormie was like doing research and talking to people about it, giving it that momentum that it needed to get the energy that brought it to a certain point where when the opportunity was presented to her, she was ready. And it was like, yeah, wait, this timing's great. So, and everything is kind of bending around to bring it into reality. You know, when we hold these things and when we nurture them, we cultivate them, it's I use that word conspiring again, but I see it almost like bending, you know, reality's bending to meet you there. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about co-creation.
It really is. I mean, that phrase where it says what you seek is seeking you, it's already happening. I mean, when you're following the moon phase, these things are happening so unconsciously sometimes that all you know is that you feel a calling and the rest is working out for you. And you can use this information to track. If we come into this full moon time, you know, what are the actions you can be taking? It's a wonderful thing to learn to work with the phases of the moon because whether or not you know what's going on is goings on.
Yeah. Oh, Stormie, thank you for sharing that story. It's so awesome. All right. So let's talk about Wednesday. What do we got?
Wednesday, pretty good. And I honestly think that Wednesday, besides we've had all of this evaluation and it's a very internal space that we've been working in. So we get a little bit of a pain reliever that comes on Wednesday, and it comes as the new moon happening at 8 degrees of Leo. So make sure you grab your chart and check out where 8 degrees is hitting for you. And this is not only a beautiful new moon where we're going to plant these seeds of intention, but it sits in a delicious trine to Jupiter, who typically acts as this very wise big brother, the wise old owl and like protector of our zodiac, right? And what it does in this particular energy is it helps us turn down some of the volume so that we can hear and we can like think straight, right? And this is actually another new moon in the month. So this is the second opportunity you're going to have in this month to plant these seeds of intention. And this is about creativity. It's about the Uranian energy we've been working with in Taurus, so the drama, but it's a fierce, fierce motivator to get you going. Now, also on Wednesday, Mercury is still in Cancer, and it's going to be coming direct the same day. And this is helpful because it helps to move communications forward. It helps to move these ideas forward. But please, my friends, keep in mind that Mercury has been in a state of rest for several weeks. So he needs a few minutes to stretch, have his cosmic coffee, get his life together, and resume his orbit before he's ready for all of this let's just move forward business, right? So you gotta give Mercury a couple days, and then miscommunication, all of the weird stuff with the devices, all of this stuff can just move forward a lot more pleasantly.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's go into Thursday.
Okay, so Thursday actually brings us into August, so happy August. And we've got this newly minted Leo moon, and it's going to be in that trine with Jupiter by day, and it's going to conjunct Mars by night. So the moon is very busy this day. Now, a moon-Jupiter energy brings this genuine quality to our interactions. I mean, it's just very genuine, very authentic. It's a good energy, happy on the heels of this new moon. It could bring some increase of whether it be money or opportunity. We're dealing with the moon, so this could also be maybe an influential woman comes into your world in some way, shape, or form. And then later that day with the moon interacting with Mars, the fact is it's just bold, it's sexy, it's brave, but it's from the inside out, so it's not a false confidence, you know what I mean? So this is, again, a phenomenal energy to take initiative, be passionate, be all of these things, but don't be bossy, right? There is a tendency to just be so extra, just too bossy. So what I would tell you is to keep in mind on Thursday, if you're getting impatient, if the energies are feeling very agitated too, because it's a lot of energy, take a step back, channel your energy into something useful, okay? So go ahead, seize the day, really use the energy, get some stuff done, enjoy the way that passion feels, but please keep in mind, don't make anybody crazy, okay? Now, as we head into the weekend, we've got a beautiful forecast going on as well. Friday gets going with the energy that we felt a little bit on Monday because Uranus is squaring the sun on Monday. But today, instead of the sun, he's going to actually be squaring Venus. So that sense of uncertainty or abrupt change, maybe even some excitement, is going to come into our relationships and our finances. So what this brings is a need for some kind of change or shift. There's an excitement, there's a freedom. And if it's in your relationships, maybe you just need to refresh them in some way, shape, or form, right? We need a little something to happen here. If this happens to be something that stimulates your money, it could be that you want to spend your money quite impulsively. You're like, forget it, I'm going to just buy it, you know? So be mindful. If you have the money, do it. If you don't, please do not. Now, on a completely different level, because it's a square, and squares are an aspect that call for action, boots on the ground, stimulated action to be taken, you could find yourself moving actively towards a new romance, towards interesting people, maybe even towards a new financial opportunity. So I will warn my relationship-based people that this is new. These people are new, they're exciting, but you could also have an energy where it doesn't last very long, right? So please keep that in mind. Don't fully invest right? Maybe get to know this person a little bit more. Now, if you're singled or you're coupled up throughout the weekend, this is phenomenal. If you've been in a sexual rut, this is so great because this Uranian Venus energy brings some experimentation to the table, right? And so if you've had a little bit of stagnant information or a stagnant energy happening over there, you have about 2 days to get the little fire going and move forward, my spiritual friends. Now, as we end the day on Friday, the moon has shifted into analytical Virgo, who's going to spin a really nice trine with Uranus as well. So this does help you welcome some extra change or excitement into your life, but it does make you very impulsive as well. So where I think this is great for you is if you do need help in something surrounding your relationships or your money, this is a great energy to ask for help, okay? Rolling into Saturday, that Virgo moon again is also going to help you have some new ideas about maybe the health of your home. And when I say the health of your home, I don't just mean, is it clean? I mean, what's the general pulse? Do you feel like your domestic space is healthy? Is your daily routine healthy? Does it maybe need a little bit of adjustment and some cleaning up to it or something like that? And finally, as we're getting set on Sunday, the moon actually shifts into partner-oriented Libra at midday. And this is going to draw our attention to where we need balance, where we need harmony. It's going to draw our attention to our partnerships. It's an energy to be together. So if you can share yourself with others on Sundays, it's a phenomenal day to be able to do that. So I hope you get to find some delicious partnership and some balance and really some beauty as we come to the end of this week that has been a little bit challenging.
Wow. I mean, there's so much happening. It feels like the beginning of the week is pretty packed. And then I'll go through my little summary. If you all remember, we talked about the theme in the beginning, which is essentially around this idea that there could be abrupt changes, there could be sudden changes, but remembering that when one door closes, another door opens. If you're in that in-between phase where the new door hasn't opened yet, see if you can tap into that sense of excitement and faith and knowing that it's actually going to happen and it's going to be for you. So, and that's number one. Number two, this week is very much about looking at old problems and coming up with new solutions to those problems. So instead of just getting stuck where you've gotten stuck, this is an opportunity to really break free from some of those things and see them differently and come up with new ideas. Also, we have the new moon. So this is a great time to be planting seeds of intention. There's a lot of potency around this new moon and this opportunity to really put some new seeds in the ground and watch them come to fruition over the lunar cycle like Stormie did. I highly encourage you to journal the way she does too, because that really helps you to, like she said, retroactively, like look back and see how things have played out for you. And then the weekend is very much about like home and love and like yummy stuff pretty much. So that's always really fun.
It is. It's a good weekend, I think, of getting things in order, making sure the balance, making sure the health of these things is there. But ultimately, I mean, it's a big week all the way around, like being pumped full of tons of Uranian electricity and just trying not to get your hair fried off or making sure your eyebrows are still intact or something, you know?
We got it. Yes. All right, Stormie, thank you so much. This has been so much fun to do this with you. Our first episode, I feel like we need to like let off some fireworks or like confetti needs to fall from the sky or something. Our first episode has been so much fun to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in, for being a part of our community, and as always, for making astrology a part of your life. We'll be here next Monday with Stormie Grace once again for your weekly forecast, and we'll have a new episode coming out on Thursday. If you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, I highly encourage you to do so. That way you'll know as soon as new episodes are live. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. With the intense energies of this summer and the life-changing alignments of 2020 just around the corner, community and trusted guides are as important as ever. And that's why I have a very special offer for you as a podcast listener here today. You may have heard of our Inner Circle online membership community featuring live new and full moon forecasts, ceremonies to help you align your intentions with the moon cycle, and mastery class astrology teachings led by the world's best astrologers. And maybe you've even considered joining us before. If so, now is definitely the time to take action because enrollment is closing on July 31st and doors won't be open again until 2020. And as a podcast listener, you have an opportunity to join us now and lock in our founding member pricing of only $27 a month. The membership will be $37 a month for new members when we reopen in 2020. So now is the time to join us and lock in the lowest pricing we'll ever offer. Just go to astrologyhub.com/inner-circle or click the link in the show notes to join us today. And when you join us now, you're going to learn from astrologers like Adam Gainsberg, teaching you how to work with your personal Venus phase so you can shine your light in the world. Nadia Shah, guiding you to embrace your unique talents through working with your 6th and 12th houses. The legendary Rick Levine, teaching on cultivating balance in relationships, and much, much more. I invite you to join us and see for yourself why 76% of our members say they feel a greater sense of purpose and meaning in their lives since joining the Inner Circle, why 81% of our members say they feel a greater sense of community and belonging, and 88% say learning astrology is easier now more than ever because they've joined the Inner Circle. Remember, there's no contract and you can cancel your membership at any time, so trying it for a month is completely risk-free. If you want to join a supportive community of astrology lovers, get guidance from professional astrologers all year long, and learn astrology from the best astrologers in the world, then this is the community for you. The membership is suitable for all levels of astrological understanding, from newbies to veterans alike. And a note to our beloved existing members, your price will remain $27 a month as long as you stay in the membership. So for those of you who would like to join us, just go to astrologyhub.com/inner-circle or click the link in the show notes and lock in your founding member price of $27 a month before doors close on July 31st. I'll see you on the inside.
Hi, this is Chris Kaplan, the producer of the Astrology Hub podcast. This episode is over, but check the show notes for links to products and services you've heard about during this episode. And if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe and rate using the subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcasts.